We have reached the 74th ayah, where the author says, starting with the word of God Almighty, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر أتتخذ أصناما آلهة إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر. And mention when Abraham said in objection to his father Terah, who was nicknamed Azar. So Abraham's father has two names. His name is Terah. It's English, Terah. So Arabic, they call him Terah, or that's with a ha, or Terah with a kha. When he said to his father Terah, and Terah has another name, his nickname, which is Azar, and some say Azar is his uncle. His uncle says Li Abihi. They say, yeah, the uncle is a type of father. Which that's true, the uncle is a type of father. But that's going to be then a ta'wil here. They're saying that because this is another name, Azar, Tarah, which is the same person or it's two different people. So some of them say, no, it's not the same person. Azar's his uncle. We are saying Terah is Azar. What did he say to his father in objection, according to the Tafsir of Jalalain? And we're not making that up just because we don't like blasphemy. He said to his father in objection, Yani, not asking to get the answer. He's not asking him so that he answers him. He's asking him so Yani to object to him. It's a rhetorical question. أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Do you take idols as gods? Yani, it means don't take idols as gods. إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Indeed, I see you and your people in evident misguidance. You are clearly lost. You are clearly lost. وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين. And like we showed him the misguidance of his father and his people, وكذلك, and likewise, or and like that, Yani, and like we showed him the misguidance of his father and his people, like we made him know that نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض. We showed Abraham the kingdom of heavens and earth. We showed Abraham the dominion of heavens and earth. Meaning, Allah gave Ibrahim intelligence and mental acuteness and made him perceive the fineries and elegance of the creation of heavens and earth. Meaning, Allah gave Ibrahim very sharp, powerful intelligence and strong knowledge so that he has mastery in argumentation. That's one way of interpreting Allah showing Abraham the kingdom or the dominion of heavens and earth, granting him sharp intelligence and strong knowledge. He knew mental proofs. Allah gave him intellectual evidence. That's one way to explain Allah showing him the kingdom of heavens and earth. And it may refer to a miracle of Abraham. Mujahid, the student of Ibn Abbas, said in explaining this, that this refers to a miracle of Abraham, that he looked, that the seven heavens were split for him. The seven heavens were split for him, and he looked at what is in them until his vision ended at the Arsh. Yani, and also the seven earths were split for him, and he looked down into them. So Mujahid said that this ayah refers to a miracle of Abraham, that Allah split the heavens for him, and then he looked up until he could see the Arsh. And that Allah split the earths for him, and then he looked down through them. وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ مَلَكُوتَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And like we showed him the misguidance of his father and his people, we showed Abraham the kingdom of heavens and earth, so to use that to prove the oneness of God. Yes, meaning Abraham, Allah endowed upon him mental argumentation, intellectual argumentation. He had mental proofs. وَلِيَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُوقِنِينَ, and so that he would be among those who are certain. Yes, indeed. If you know the story of Abraham, then you can understand very well that Abraham was indeed a Muslim. Because look how he was just giving people da'wah and refuting the star worshippers, refuting the idol worshippers, talking to his dad, refuting the king who claimed to be God, just like a Muslim. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. So when the darkness of night fell upon him, he saw a star. This verse is connected to what means when Abraham said to his father. Therefore, the meaning is, and when Abraham said to his father, Azar, do you take idols as gods? I see you and your people in evident misguidance. So when the darkness of night fell upon him, so that means that Ayah 75 is interjected. That's why there's dash here. Dash here at the beginning and dash here at the end. Because it is interjected. It is inserted between related sentences. And so the meaning is, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ آزَرَ أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً إِنِّي أَرَاكَ وَقَوْمَكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. And وَكَذَلِكَ نُرِي إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And like we showed him the misguidance of his father and his people, all of that is interjected. It's not the first time we saw interjected sentences in the Quran. فَلَمَّا جَنَّ عَلَيْهِ اللَّيْلُ رَأَى كَوْكَبًا. So when the darkness of night fell upon him, he saw a star. Yani the stars came out. He saw a star, yani the stars came out, and he saw a star that the people worship. One in particular. قَالَ هَذَا رَبِّي. He said in denial, this is my Lord. فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. Then when it set, he said, I do not love to worship the things that set. This means I do not love to worship the things that change from state to state, because that is the quality of bodies. He wanted to draw their attention to their blunder in religion and to guide them to the way of reflection and inference. Yani, to guide them to the mental proofs so that they understand that valid reflection and inference leads to the conclusion that a thing would not be worthy of worship as long as there is any sign of it being created. A thing would not be worthy of worship as long as there is any sign of it being created. That's what he's saying to them. Yani, here, Abraham, he's talking to his people and he's trying to explain to them. This doesn't mean necessarily that these are the very only words he said to them in this particular incident. That the Yani, the star came out and his people were out, and then he said, "This is my Lord. I don't love the things that go away." And then that's it. That's the whole conversation. He didn't say more. He didn't say less. Uh, that's not necessarily the case. Rather, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he was talking to them. He was explaining to them, trying to clarify for them. Yani Ibrahim, he was an excellent teacher. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. But what he said to them had no effect. فلما رأى القمر بازغا قال هذا ربي. Then, when he saw the moon rising, he again said in denial, "This is my Lord." فلما أفل قال لئن لم يهدني ربي لأكونن من القوم الضالين. Then, when he saw the moon rising, he again said in denial, "This is my Lord." Then, when it set, he said to implicate his people. He said, making an insinuation, "If my Lord did not guide me, I certainly would have indeed been among the misguided folk." But what he said to them had no effect. Yani, he implicated them. He's saying, "You are misguided folks." But they did not get it. That's what it means. What he said had no effect on them. They didn't get it. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي. Then, when he saw the sun rising, he once more said in objection, "This is my Lord. هذا أكبر. This is bigger than the star and the moon." Yani, this is comparable. This is something that has comparison, because Akbar, this is bigger here, means he's comparing it to something else. فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون. Then, when it set, and the argument was even stronger against them, but they still did not retract, he said, "O my people, I am clear of what created objects you associate with God. I have nothing to do with the created objects that you associate with God." Here, these ayat are very important for the Sunni theologian. Yani, this story here is among the fundamental proofs of the Sunni theologians, mutakallimun, the scholars of creed. because this story perfectly encapsulates the method of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. Meaning, if a Wahhabi were to say to us, you are innovators, where did you get this talk about starting and stopping and particles and having a beginning or not having a beginning and changing and bodies and properties and possible and impossible and necessary? Where did you get all of this? We didn't find this in the Sunnah, and we didn't find it in the Quran. So we can say to them, you didn't find it because you are blind. You didn't find it because you can't see, not because it's not there. Among what clearly, not obscurely, clearly demonstrates our way of explaining the creed and arguing the creed is Abraham's attempt to refute these star worshippers, or his actually refuting the star worshippers. Here, he's arguing or talking to the star worshippers because some of his people were star worshippers and some of them were idol worshippers, or maybe they merged those. And some of them were people worshippers because they worshiped the king. And maybe they merged all of these. So here he's talking to star worshippers. And when the star that they worshipped faded away, he clarified for them that the star's fading away is created. It is itself createdness. It is huduth, createdness. This is the point he's making. It's just that the Wahhabi doesn't understand because it doesn't, for example, have the word huduth there. Huduth, createdness. But this is what he is saying when he says to them, when Allah told us, فَلَمَّا أَفَلَ قَالَ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. When it disappeared, when it set, meaning when it changed, when its attributes went from one way to another way, then he said, I do not love the things whose attributes go from one way to another way. And then when the sun came out, he said, Hada Akbar, this is bigger. That means this is a body. This is something that has volume and it is comparable. So it is because the Wahhabi does not have the correct creed in the first place that he does not understand what Abraham's saying. The Wahhabi is like the star worshippers in the story. He doesn't get it. And the Wahhabi is not going to be able to explain these ayat to their fullest potential. He might, at bare minimum, say, they worship the star, and when the star went away, Abraham was telling them, I don't worship stars. But what the Wahhabi cannot explain, what he cannot explain, is what Abraham meant when he said, La uhibbul afilin. I don't love the things that set. And what he is saying is, I don't worship something that has created attributes. So they asked him what he worships. And he responded, إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا. Surely, I have devoted my worship as a Hanif to who created heavens and earth. What's the Hanif? As you know, the Hanif is who is disinterested in all invalid religion. This is a quality of some of the people. It's in them. When they hear invalid religion, they don't accept, even as children. And they might be on a mission until Allah guides them to Islam. And then when they are guided to Islam, they say, finally, وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. And it is not I who is among the pagans. I'm not the one who's one of the pagans. This sentence has an insinuation. It's like he's saying, you are the pagans, not me. وَحَاجَّهُ قَوْمُهُ. And his people disputed with him concerning religion, saying their idols were better than his God. And they warned him that their idols would punish him. قَالَ أَتُحَاجُّونِّي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِ. He said, do you dispute with me about Allah, while he it is who granted me the divine compliance to know his oneness, and he guided me? Let's check the recitation here. That's how I memorized the ayah. It's different from how it's typed here. وَحَاجَّهُ قَوْمُهُ قَالَ أَتُحَاجُّونِّي فِي اللَّهِ وَقَدْ هَدَانِ. Yes, like I recited. Alhamdulillah. So without the ya here. Although there are recitations where you say the ya, even if it's not written, even if the ya is not written, you can still say it in some recitations, even without writing it. Like in Surat al-Kafirun. لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِي دِينِي. Even if it's written without a ya, that's how it is in some recitations. Wali dini. What's going on that ya? Li. So he said, do you dispute with me about Allah? You argue with me about Allah? وَقَدْ هَدَانِ. While he it is who guided me. He is the one who guided me. وَلَا أَخَافُ مَا تُشْرِكُونَ بِهِ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ رَبِّي شَيْئًا. And I do not fear what powerless idols you associate with him. Rather, if my Lord wills something, then it shall be. They warned him of ill omen, and that their idols would curse him for his insolence. And he told them, I do not fear what you unrightfully worship instead of Allah, not even for a moment. They have no power to benefit or to inflict harm. However, if it were my Lord who willed for me to be afflicted by way of those idols, then he is the one who has the power to create benefit or harm in whatever he willed. It is not the idols themselves that have that power. وَسِعَ رَبِّي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. My Lord encompasses everything in knowledge. أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. Do you not take heed? Of the Mashayikh. So I had to take his call. So, وَسِعَ رَبِّي كُلَّ شَيْءٍ عِلْمًا. Abraham continued to say, my Lord encompasses everything in knowledge. أَفَلَا تَتَذَكَّرُونَ. Do you not take heed and thus believe? Listen. وَكَيْفَ أَخَافُ مَا أَشْرَكْتُمْ وَلَا تَخَافُونَ أَنَّكُمْ أَشْرَكْتُمْ بِاللَّهِ. And this is a very nice statement here. How would I fear what you have associated, and you do not fear that you have associated with Allah? أنكم أشركتم بالله ما لم ينزل به عليكم سلطانا. How would I fear what you have associated while you do not fear that you have associated with Allah what He did not give any authority, what He did not give you to worship it, any authority. You worship something without God's permission. فأي الفريقين أحق بالأمن إن كنتم تعلمون. So which of the two parties is more deserving of safety? Which of the two parties is most deserving of safety from the torture? The monotheists or the polytheists? The meaning is that he is saying, how is it that you deny my safety while I'm doing what's safest? And you do not deny your own safety while you are doing what is dangerous. Worshipping more than one God, going against the sound mental judgment. الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون. Those who believed and did not mix their belief with injustice. The injustice of paganism, of polytheism, shirk. Those, أولئك لهم الأمن, safety is theirs. وهم مهتدون, and they are guided. وتلك حجتنا آتيناها إبراهيم على قومه. And that is our argument. We gave it to Abraham and inspired him to use it against his people. Yani, Allah praises Abraham's argumentation. Abraham's employment of mental arguments, rational arguments is approved here. Allah praised it by calling it his argument. وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا. That's our argument. آتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَى قَوْمِهِ. We gave it to Abraham against his people. That argument that Allah inspired Abraham with is the argument of the people of the Sunnah. Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, the people of the prophetic way and the majority. They argue like Abraham did. As for the anthropomorphists and Wahhabis, they don't use this argument because they don't have the same religion as Abraham. They don't have the same conviction as Abraham. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَّن نَّشَاءُ. We raise by ranks in knowledge and wisdom whomever we will. إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. Surely your Lord is wise in his raising some over others, and knowledgeable of who is more entitled. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ. And we gifted to him his son Isaac and Isaac's son Jacob. And in fact, Abraham got a prophecy about that. That's the news that was delivered to him by the angels who came to destroy the towns of Sodom and Gomorrah, the towns of the homosexuals. They stopped at Abraham's place first. Yani, you know, Abraham came from Iraq. All this story here is while he's in Iraq. He left Iraq and he went to Palestine, and then there was a famine in Palestine and he went to Egypt. That's when his wife got taken. But while after he left Iraq and he settled somewhere, I don't know if he was in Palestine at the time, and Lot came with him from Iraq. Who came with him from Iraq? His wife and his nephew. So this nephew of his, Lot, is older than Ishmael and Isaac because Lot was with him before Ishmael was born. Lot came from Iraq with him with his wife Hajar, with his wife Sarah. With his wife Sarah. And that was before they went to Egypt to get Hajar, and got Hajar. Before they went to Egypt, and then Sarah wound up getting Hajar while she was in Egypt. And then after that, she gave Hajar to Abraham as a gift. And then Hajar gave birth to Ishmael. We say Ishmael was his first son, and Isaac came after that. I don't know what's the time between them. Isaac wasn't born yet when the angels came to him and gave him the good news of Isaac and Jacob. That's the same story when he didn't even know they were angels. He thought they were humans. And they came to him and they said, Salam. And he said, Salam, qawmun munkarun. You are unknown people to me. He didn't know they were angels. And then he offered them food, and then they didn't take it, and then he was suspicious of them. And then they told him, fear not. And that's when they gave him the good news of a son to be, a son who would be a magnificent scholar. That's Isaac. And they gave him the good news of Jacob. And when his wife heard that they would have a child, and she was an old barren woman and he was an old man, that's when she smacked her own face in astonishment. So, وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ, and we gifted to him his son Isaac and Isaac's son Jacob. Those two about whom he knew before they were born. كُلًّا هَدَيْنَا, each we have guided. Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. وَنُوحًا هَدَيْنَا مِن قَبْلُ, and Noah we guided prior to Abraham in ancient times. Noah was long time ago in ancient times. وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِهِ دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ وَأَيُّوبَ وَيُوسُفَ وَمُوسَى وَهَارُونَ, and we guided from his progeny David and his son Solomon, Job, Joseph, the son of Jacob, Moses and his brother Aaron, وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And like we rewarded them, we reward the good doers. وَزَكَرِيَّا وَيَحْيَا وَعِيسَى وَإِلْيَاسَ. And Zechariah and his son John, Jesus, the son of Mary, and Elias, the nephew of Aaron, according to Jalalain. كُلٌّ مِّنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Each was among the righteous. وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَالْيَسَعَ وَيُونُسَ وَلُوطًا. And Ishmael, Elisha, Jonas, and Lot. وَكُلًّا فَضَّلْنَا عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. And all of them we have preferred over all the creations, over everyone else in the world. وَمِنْ آبَائِهِمْ وَذُرِّيَّاتِهِمْ وَإِخْوَانِهِمْ. And some of their fathers, their progeny, and their brothers. وَاجْتَبَيْنَاهُمْ وَهَدَيْنَاهُمْ إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. We have selected them and guided them to a path, a correct religion. This, here's a footnote. Al-Tabari says that this means that some of their fathers and brothers and progeny of these named prophets were also prophets, but they were not named. Sadaqallahul Azim. Allah knows best. Do you have a question I can answer for you? It's a question. It says, out of topic question. When the woman in menstruation finishes her period and makes ghusl, does she still have to make wudu or no? Because she made a ghusl. Okay. This rule is not particular to a menstruating woman. Any person who has to perform an obligatory ghusl, if he makes an obligatory ghusl and does not do anything that breaks wudu, then he can pray after that ghusl without making wudu. So this means the person is making a ghusl and did not touch his private parts, did not urinate while doing the ghusl, for example, nothing that breaks the wudu, or didn't touch his spouse while taking the ghusl, didn't do anything that breaks a wudu, and did an obligatory ghusl, then that's enough to pray. No other questions? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.